from the BBC World Service in association with ABC and All India Radio. This is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell and I'm now in Adelaide. I've flown across here from Melbourne after commentating on the Australian Open tennis. So thank you to Eleanor Oldroyd for sitting in for me last week. There was still a crossover, you know. Steve Smith, the former Australia Test captain, was in the front row or two the other night watching one of the quarterfinals that I was commentating on. But you know what? It's just been so good seeing Melbourne come alive in such a big way after a couple of COVID hit years for the tennis with some lower spectator numbers. Well, they came in their droves and they partied and they loved the festival atmosphere, and I have to say I did as well.
Hello, Jim Maxwell back in Sydney after a spell up on the Central Coast, and Ali mentioned Steve Smith. Well, I would say in terms of cricket in the last week, he's the highlight. Scored the first 200s ever scored for the Sydney Sixers since they started playing in the Big Bash, and then another 66. Just extraordinary. How could they have ever left him out of the Australian team in that T20? Put him in anywhere, but probably opening. And we've got the culmination of the Big Bash now, going into that this week, and Australia continuing their series against Pakistan. But I'm pleased to say that the weather's been more hot and sunny than wet, which coming from Sydney is very unusual.
We've got wonderful weather here in Bangalore as well. Hello, everybody. Charu Sharma. Glad to be back on Stumped after missing in action for a while. I've been dedicating a lot of time for my school and my batch because we had a big reunion in Pondicherry, enjoyed ourselves hugely with my batchmates from the 1974 batch. And then I went to Mayo as well, Mayo College's Mayor, because there was a conclave there that some of us are setting up trying to get some improvements going just to be more contemporary. But apart from all of that, we've just celebrated our Republic Day in India, the 26th of January. Women's cricket is finally booming thanks to the Women's Premier League, getting all sorts of fabulous attention commercially. And, well, I'm just glad that the Indian team is doing what they did to New Zealand with those high-scoring matches. Plenty of heroes there for sure.
Some extraordinary numbers, aren't they, knocking around that Women's Premier League. Not the Women's Indian Premier League. We've talked about that on the programme at the moment. It's the Women's Premier League. But we will be delving much more deeply into that as we get closer and closer to the start. But we have another extraordinary story for you at the top of the show, because it's a story of a call-up, an international call-up for a 29-year-old cricketer who, until only 6 months ago, was playing recreational club cricket in the north of England. This is 29-year-old Tayyab Tahir, who's been called up to play for Pakistan. He's gearing up at the moment to play for Karachi Kings in the Pakistan Super League, having made his international debut against New Zealand in Pakistan's recent ODI series. Now, we wanted to find out a little bit more about Tayyab, so we've invited him on the show. Tayyab, welcome to Stumped. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
And so how did the call-up happen to Pakistan? How did you learn about your debut?
So I was playing cricket with my brother, on the roof at my home, So I was waiting for the announcement, and I was hoping that I could get the chance today, and they might select me. So I've been waiting for the selection, and somebody messaged me. He goes like, "Congratulations." And I was shocked that I didn't know that I got selected yet. So I put the TV on and I was waiting for the announcement. Then I got like many messages like on my cell phone, like congratulations. And few like my friends, they sent me a few videos of the, when they announcing the squad. And it was really like, I was shocked that I got selected for Pakistan team.
So you find out via the television. There's nobody that makes a phone call directly to you to say, we'd like to pick you?
My phone kept ringing, So I couldn't answer like anybody call at that time.
You seem to take your chance very quickly. Tell us about that run out of Finn Allen from New Zealand.
Well, I was, bench player. I didn't get the chance to debut, So like I'm a kind of famous like in Pakistan with the throw, So I throw like very good throw. So Haris Rauf got injured, and then first man got injured, So they took two fielders in. One of my coach, what you call Umar Rashid, he goes like, now you get the chance, make sure you do 2 runouts. But like I was thinking about, I was finding runouts. Yeah, I always look about like how can I get the chance to do something like different. Yeah. So then like I was filling on the deep leg side for the right-handed. Yeah. So then when they rotate the runs, yeah, so I came up in the circle. Then I got the chance and I just hit it. And it was like, I don't know how I did it.
Direct hit glory.
Well, we've been doing a little bit of investigation through your club in England, Billingham, where you've been playing for the last few years. And Andy Clayton, we asked him if he could tell us a little bit more about you. And this is what he had to say.
Obviously, back in 2019 when we signed Tayyab, you didn't know what you were getting. Like anything, when you go for an overseas play, you just put your hand in the pot, trying to pull out what you can. We did do a little bit of homework on him and spoke to him, looked at his stats, and that were quite good. But so you don't realise how good they are until they turn up. As soon as he turned up in the first game, you just realise how especially what potentially he had and where he could go in the game. He is a little lad, and I've never seen any little lad hit the ball so hard. Obviously, we've got quite a big ground in Billingham. And he hits his ball. He was hitting the ball at the ground for fun, which is it's never been done before. He was at the point where people were terrified to put the car in the car park. As soon as they found out he was batting, the cars were getting moved outside or hid behind the nets. So his feeling that he picks his ball up, and it's like a bullet. He just throws it flat, and it just doesn't deviate. It's just 9 times out of 10, it's direct. He doesn't miss the stumps. He's the wicketkeeper here. If he missed the stumps, he knew he had to do something. Yeah, one time I think we were playing at Richmond. He picked this ball up, threw at the stumps, missed the stumps, hit the umpire in the leg. 2 years later, the umpire still got the bruise on his leg. He's probably still got it now. You can see the total difference in gap to other professionals, other people in the league, that he was the outstanding player. Hopefully one day we'll get him back across, but hopefully not too soon, because hopefully he's playing at national cricket for a while yet.
That's Andy Clayton, the club secretary at Billingham. What did you make of that appraisal from Andy, Tayyab?
I always keep in touch with Andy, yeah. So he always supporting me from there, like if I'm doing well in Pakistan, and he goes like, whatever you need from UK, do let me know. Because whenever I play for them, yeah, he saw me everything. Like he goes like, whatever you need, just let me know.
Tayyab, hello, this is Charu Sharma from Bangalore. Congratulations on this fabulous rise. It must be a terrific moment for you to be picked for Pakistan. Now, sharing the dressing room with some of the biggest names in the game, particularly the skipper Babar Azam, I wonder what that did to your morale. And do you remember something specific that Babar may have told you that really gave you a lot of heart, something you remember well?
Well, to be honest, like when I got selected, yeah, I was thinking about like big players. Like he's a world-class player. So I was thinking about to ask him about, like, he played really good, like, you know, cover drives and few different shots. Yeah. So I was like, I'll go and then I'll discuss things about batting, about, you know, how they do it and how they control things. Yeah. So it was good. It was good to share a room with them. And even though he was a good lad, Mohammad Rizwan as well. So, like, it was a good experience.
Well, I think that's the difference. If you make your debut at 22, 23 versus 29, 30, you're probably more relaxed and cool, as you say you were. But
still, if you go on that level, yeah, but still you get nervous, which I think, because when I went inside of the fielding, yeah, I was nervous at that time because I was wearing, you know, green shirt. I saw a star here and, you know, everybody watching me. So I think I did one misfield as well. Yeah. So then that's the main pressure, like everybody watching you. Then slowly after 2-3 hours, like I was okay. I was like, okay, I'm playing. It's not like I tell my mind that just take it easy.
Well, we look forward to seeing much more of you. Now, Tayyab, next, of course, is the Pakistan Super League for you. You're playing with the Karachi Kings, and surely a massive opportunity for you to once again establish your name and become this big hero with a fabulous profile back in Pakistan. Surely looking forward to a fantastic season.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think PSL 8 now, yeah. So when they started first time, yeah, so I goes like, okay, this is the way, like if we don't perform in domestic level, like one day T20, and obviously like we got a chance to play for like PSL, then we can do well in PSL, then we can get chance to play for Pakistan. So I've been waiting like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was waiting to get a chance to play for any kind of franchise. So then this year, like 2-3 years, I'm doing well in domestic. Then I got a chance to play for Karachi Kings this year. So I'm really excited to play for them, and I'll try my best to do well.
And Tayyab, you did your MSc in sports science. So if cricket hadn't gone so well, what were you going to do with that degree?
I never think about it. It never go well. Like I just always think, I'll go and I'll do something. I'll smash everything.
That's great confidence. You've got to have that belief to make it in international cricket.
Yeah.
Tayyab, it's been great to speak to you and to get to know you. Congratulations on where you've got so
Thank
far.
you very much.
And look forward to following your career very much.
Thank you very much.
Finally on Stumped, the scheduling of Australia women's T20 match against Pakistan on Australia Day sparked some controversy. The 26th of January is a public holiday down under, which effectively marks the start of Britain's colonial rule 235 years ago. And it's generally been considered a day of celebration, barbecues and parties, but for Indigenous Australians, it is a day of hurt and mourning. Now, Australia all-rounder Ashleigh Gardner, who is from the indigenous Muruwari people, says the scheduling of this match just doesn't sit well with her or the people that she's representing. Former Australian cricketers Jason Gillespie and also Dan Christian have supported her view as well. They too have indigenous heritage. Jim, what has the overall reaction in Australia been to, I guess, the scheduling of a match and also Ash Gardner's response?
Discomfort, I would say. A lot of discomfort, and there's a lot of sensitivity about the whole issue of Indigenous people and reconciliation, and it's become more of a priority than it ever was. Certainly when I was growing up, Australia Day was regarded as a wonderful day, as you suggested, and more often than not, we were playing Test cricket in Adelaide, and it was a huge occasion amongst many other things that occur on that day to celebrate what most Australians believed was the right and proper thing to do. But that has all changed dramatically. So we're now in a position where we're probably going to have to move the day to accommodate the wishes of a number of people. And I don't know how that's satisfactorily going to be done, given that there is a kind of spirit of celebration of Australians of the Year being named, of Australia's Day honours being handed out to a lot of Australians, including quite a few Indigenous Australians I noticed when I was looking through the list this morning. So it's not a comfortable situation as it now exists, and it's probably going to get worse if those in charge, the government of the day, I guess you're talking about, continues to celebrate the 26th of January as Australia Day. So what pressure is going to come to bear to move the day? I'm not so sure, but it sounds like something will have to happen. Otherwise, it's going to become more and more uncomfortable for almost all of us, and we need to be more sensitive as a nation to what has occurred historically and recognise it.
How has Cricket Australia responded to what Ash Gardner had to say, sort of in criticism of them scheduling a match on that day?
Carefully, I would say. They understand, acknowledge that there's an opportunity to continue their education of all of those around cricket by including the Indigenous community, and that's important. I mean, it needs to be recognised that Ash Gardner and before her Jason Gillespie, right, they're really the only two people you can think of from Indigenous sport in Australia that have played cricket for their country. Historically, it hardly ever occurred. It was more of a rugby league, rugby union, boxing athletics, where indigenous Australians found their mark. But this has changed things in the last few years under wider recognition of being a problem with the 26th of January and the way it's celebrated. So there's going to be more consultation. Cricket Australia have their own Indigenous Advisory Committee, and they've approved to play on this date at the moment. And as we're recording this program, Australia is playing Pakistan in Hobart. So at least there's been a recognition via this game by the wearing of an Indigenous kit by the Australian team. They're having a traditional smoking ceremony before the match and walking around the local mountain Kununyu to learn about the community. So that is occurring. There'll obviously be some change the more we go, but Cricket Australia are just trying to ease their way into a decision of some sort that could have a more significant bearing. Remembering that next year, around this time, we are scheduled to play a men's test match against the West Indies.
Charu, you mentioned at the top of the programme that January 26th is a significant day for India as well.
Yeah, well, unlike what's happening in Australia, where it's very divisive, as you said, the 26th of January is India's Constitution Day. It's called the Republic Day because this is when the Constitution was presented to the people of India after independence was gained on the 15th of August, 1947. So it took a while, but all the paperwork documentation got done and the Constitution was unveiled to the country, which, of course, holds the nation together. This is when India became a sovereign republic. And yes, it's a day of celebration in India because this is all unifying stuff. It's not dividing at all. It's unifying the entire population of India. And there's so much talk about the Constitution taking the whole nation forward because that gives you the framework, doesn't it? Of course, many changes have been made in the Constitution because even that is not written in stone, but it's a day of great celebration in India. And I can't obviously figure out how Australia may be able to take the focus away from their 26th of January because it divided and maybe... Well, it's not just cricket that Jim was talking about, but there's so many other sports that go on in Australia. It's a very sporting nation. So has everybody managed to keep the focus away from the 26th of January when they play? It's a tough one for Australia, but a day of great celebration in India, on the contrary.
And glad you've managed to enjoy it and celebrate it this week as well, Charu. Now that is it for this week's Stumped. I'll say thank you to Jim Maxwell and Charu Sharma, and of course to all of you, and we'll see you again same time next week. Bye for now.
From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.